There are so many rules that people think that they need to follow in order to get an anime physique. But the reality is, these are just arbitrary ideas and guidelines. And while some are really useful, some of them are honestly quite useless, and even some are actually holding you back. So I'm gonna show you the 5 rules that you need to break if you wanna get your anime physique faster than all of your friends. Oh, and by the way, welcome to Weep Talk. All right, let's start with rule number 1. Everybody knows that you're not gonna build muscle if you don't train hard enough. Because when you bring yourself to failure, that's the key to your true muscle growth, and that's where your potential is gonna be. But here's the mistake that I see many people unknowingly make. Now let's say you have a guy who performs push-ups, and his push-up form is very good. He's going all the way down using full range of motion. His abs are engaged, so he's a rigid plank, and he has perfect form all the way through, which is awesome. Meanwhile, you see this guy, he starts like this arbitrary guy. He starts off with perfect form, and as he continues going, it starts to break down. And at the moment of the last few reps, it looks like his form is completely not good. He's range of motion, he can barely go down anymore, and his butt is starting to sag. Now, I want you to tell me, who do you think is gonna get more gains? Person A, perfect form all the way through, or person B, the guy who started with perfect form and then broke down later on? Surprisingly, it's this guy. There's nothing in my hand. It sounds counterintuitive, but if your last rep looks like your first rep, that's probably a sign that you could have gone harder. When people train hard and actually push their bodies to failure or even further than that, their form is going to break down guaranteed. But you see people who are so focused on perfect form throughout that they rob themselves of potential gains. Their muscle could have more to give, but they still just stop because they think, oh, my form's breaking down, I can't do it anymore. Now, can you still get away with going through the entire set with perfect form and never reaching that true failure? Sure, yeah, you can. But the guy who is going all out, that he has to cheat the move to get the last few muscle fibers in his chest to become completely exhausted, that's the guy who's blowing up his chest, not the guy who's focused on the form. Now, of course, use good form. This is an excuse to be sloppy. But don't think that this is textbook, that this is gospel, that you need to be doing this perfect form over and over. Now this next rule, rule number 2, this one's a good one. Now every bodybuilder that you see or any generic programs that you see in any sort of fitness thing, they always do somewhere shy of 10, 12 repetitions. This rep range is known as the hypertrophy rep range and is the most optimal for building that muscle, which means that going less or going more is something that you shouldn't do. And if you happen to go less or more, that means you have to adjust the weight, adjust the exercise in order for you to hit that rep range. But here's the thing, just because you're not in that rep range does not mean you're not going to build muscle. So that's why you need to break this rule and this belief that you have to hit this certain number of reps. Because you can in fact build a ton of muscle in lower rep ranges and in very high rep ranges as well. The only reason people give you this 10 to 12 is because of the sake of efficiency. People don't want to spend forever in the gym doing endless repetitions, and instead they want to reach that muscular failure at a safe number, which is the 10 to 12. But a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that, oh, if I am at 10 to 12 reps, that means I stop. That's the muscle building range. That's not true. For example, I like to use the 6 to 8 rep range to work on my strength, but it also helps to build the muscle as well. If you're reaching failure at 6 to 8 reps, that means the force that you're using is putting so much tension on your muscles that of course they're going to grow, and not only grow bigger, but they're also going to go stronger. I also like to use high rep ranges because at high repetitions, you do something to the muscles called sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, and it's just a fancy word for your muscles filling up with fluid. And if they fill up with fluid, like a balloon, they get bigger. You also increase your endurance, increase your cardio, you test your mind because doing high repetitions is hard. And high rep training is how the prison style workouts or street workouts usually are. When you Google street workout or search it up on YouTube, you see these jacked dudes who are just doing high rep pull-ups, high rep push-ups, these crazy innovative exercises with zero weights, and yet they're jacked. They're huge. Why? Because they're training in those high rep ranges, or they're doing crazy cool skills within lower rep ranges. So no, you don't have to hit 10 to 12 reps to build muscle. In fact, having a more diverse range of repetitions is not only going to help you get to your physique faster, but you're also going to be more diverse of an athlete. All right, let's talk about rule number 3. One of the reasons why people are kind of intimidated to working out is because of how long it takes. Like, people see Arnold back in the day doing 2 workouts a day, 2 hours each, and they're like, I have to do that in order to get my physique? Or some people who are like, yeah, you have to work out at least an hour or you didn't get a good workout in. Here's the thing. You can get an amazing workout in less than an hour. In fact, I haven't worked out total time working out hasn't been more than an hour for several years now. And I'm pretty big. So let's break the rule of you have to work out in at least an hour. And instead of focusing on time, focus on intensity. If you can get an intense workout in, you don't have to be working out as long. The best way to think about intensity is, 1, how hard is the workout you're doing? And 2, how much volume are you doing in total? Basically, volume times intensity. If you can get that high enough, then time doesn't really matter. Now, let's say your intensity is the same, right? If we talk about volume, most people, they just need 10 to 20 sets per muscle group per week to actually make the gains they need to. And assuming you work a muscle group twice per week, all you need to do is 3 sets of maybe 2 exercises to hit 12, and maybe 4 exercises if you want to go above and beyond. And even if you're not increasing the volume, if you're just increasing intensity, so that's training harder, training stronger, that's probably enough for you to induce hypertrophy without worrying about the time. I even have this system in my Shonen Strength program where each workout that I give my students has a 30-minute variation called the hyperbolic time chamber variation. There, I compress the workouts to a greater intensity, keeping volume roughly the same. So you can get a workout even if you claim to have 0 time. If you want to check that out, plus my 90-day program and my other anime programs, you can join the Shonen Strength community, link in the description. Now, with rule number 4, this is where a lot of people get it wrong. Because besides building muscle, everybody also wants to lose fat. And everyone knows to lose fat, it is simple. You gotta be in a calorie deficit. And how do you maintain the most top-tier calorie deficit? Well, of course, you have to do some form of cardio, whether that's running, jump rope, biking, swimming, something that gets your heart rate elevated to a large amount. And that way, after a 30-minute cardio session, you've burned a ton of calories. Problem with this is that, does anybody actually like doing cardio? There's some cardio that's very enjoyable. I do like jump rope and I do like shadow boxing. But the general Joe Schmo, does he really want to be doing all that? And some people who don't know about different types of cardio, they think, oh, I just need to run on the treadmill. Like, I have to run on the treadmill for 30 minutes, 60 minutes. And they dread that because, God, nobody likes a treadmill. I will claim that nobody likes the treadmill. Which is why the rule that everybody needs to break is the cardio rule, thinking that cardio is a necessity for your anime physique. I can promise you that it is not. Now, don't get me wrong, cardio is very good for you. It's good for your heart health, helps with longevity. But I'm just saying it's not required to lose fat. One is you can maintain a calorie deficit without cardio. You don't have to include it, but it does help. Second, if you do want to burn extra calories throughout the day, you don't have to make it this intense thing that you dread. Because one thing that I always recommend people do is, well, it's one of 2 things. One is just simply walking. Walking is the most baby level activity anybody can do. And if you walk enough for a time per day, you're gonna burn a good amount of calories. Plus, it's something that you can do every single day. So you're not afraid to do it every day. Simply setting a step goal, a good one is 8 to 10,000 steps per day. That will allow you to burn the calories you need, stay in a calorie deficit easier, and that way you can get shredded. The second way that I like to recommend people approach their cardio if they are going to do it is by doing zone 2 specifically. There's different cardio zones that someone can explore, and the zones are based on heart rate. The higher the zone, the higher your heart rate. Zone 2 is in that lower end, where it's like 60 to 70% of your max heart rate. Also in before the 6-7 jokes. And that could look like incline walking on the treadmill. You don't have to run on the treadmill. That could look like a very brisk walk. Maybe it's even light jump rope or a light swim. And the beauty of zone 2 is that you can do this for quite a long time without getting gassed. Like you could do this for an hour and still be okay. And you could do it every day without impacting recovery, impacting your joints, impacting your tendons, none of that. Cardio is not supposed to be intimidating. It can be fun, it can be done every day, and it can be very useful. But now we talk about rule 5. And rule 5 is something that I think strikes fear in the hearts of many. When you do exercises, a lot of experts, they're gonna tell you, hey, you gotta keep your arms tucked. You can't flare your elbows. Your knees can't go past your toes. You need to train this and that way. And while generally you do want to be training in a certain way to avoid injury and have safe positions for your joints, but they're not things that you need to exclude entirely. So your body is a lot stronger than people make it out to be. They act like it's a very fragile thing that breaks easily, but it is a highly adaptable, advanced thing that we have possession of. So you can put it through stressful movements, maybe disadvantageous joint positions, high amounts of stretch. And if you do it carefully and safely, your body adapts and you can actually get stronger in that position. And this is important because there are some things that you need to do that will stress your joints in ways that you probably don't want them to stress. So wouldn't you rather be prepared and trained for those moments rather than avoiding them the whole time? And then when the time comes, you're not ready and then you actually hurt yourself. So go ahead, do exercises that flare your arms, like Bulgarian ring dips or the Bulgarian push-up. Go deep into your squat, ass to grass. Bring your knees over your toes. See how it feels. As long as nothing hurts and nothing feels funny, then your body will slowly adapt and you'll be able to handle those weird positions very well. That way you can avoid injury and continue training and not have to set yourself back. And I can't emphasize enough, still be careful. Be smart, be safe. Don't purposefully try to pick up a ton of weight on a squat rack and collapse your knees inwards. So now that you got these rules and you're gonna break them because you're the little rebel that you are, you're probably gonna go hard, get at it, count every single rep, track all of your food, eat in 1,000 calorie deficit, and train till your bones break. And that's great. I love your attitude and enthusiasm. But if you start to become way too obsessed with the fitness, the diet, it can actually be pretty detrimental to your physique. So watch this video right here if you want to learn how you can still build your anime physique without obsessing over it and making it your entire life.